From the rush of being an unstoppable nuisance
Stop, I'm fine. Stop.
to getting humbled abruptly for disruptive behavior,
Sit down. Don't push me. Oh, sit the down, you ugly bitch. Get off of me.
these are times when unruly plane passengers get humbled mid-flight. First off, we see an airport police officer outrightly asking a passenger aboard US Delta Airlines to leave the plane because of unruly behavior. And instead of the passenger humbly obeying authority, he does something unwise.
Created a disturbance on the flight. Sir, the pilot does not want you on the plane. Sir, Delta is going to rebook you on another plane. The pilot, you don't have to see him. It's the pilot's plane. The pilot does not want you on the plane.
Obviously, he's deliberately pissing off the officers and wasting everyone's time. The whole scenario seems funny to him, and he keeps at it confidently until something happens. In a funny twist, his minute of humiliation arrives.
Sir, you're trespassing from Delta Airlines. They told you they did not want you on the plane. You refused to comply.
I put my hands behind my back. I'll walk out. Put him in front of me.
If you think that was wild, here's another crazy passenger who plays the victim. While others silently move along with the authorities, this particular woman whines and cries uncontrollably after she has already misbehaved. But the authorities of Spirit Airlines try to handle the situation to the best of their ability.
I have to go to work and sleep, please.
So here's the thing. Like I said, I don't want you to end up being banned from the airport.
I'm trying to tell her that I'll refund her myself. I don't want her to have to go through another bigger process and then have more problems.
All right, let's.
Okay, now here come the Karens. You may probably wonder how disturbed passengers react when an unruly individual gets thrown off the plane like the biblical Jonah. However, you will be surprised to see that most passengers clap these Karens off the plane, just like this group of ladies aboard US Delta Airlines. You can imagine how humiliating it must be for these humbled Karens. Someone in the comments section had to say, hopefully they get put on the no-fly list in the future. And indeed, he's most right about that, because it sure would save a lot of flight stress. And also completely get rid of crazy passengers flying along with everyone else. Just like this man who behaved so wildly to the point that the airport security had no choice but to do this.
Thank you, guys.
Turn around and walk. Walk.
I need airport
Walk. Walk.
You will agree with me that this is a classic VIP exit for a clown. But if you think that's crazy, then you're in for a big surprise, because this next case will leave your jaw hanging. Look at this mature woman who makes racist comments on her flight. We see her feeling so entitled that she sees some other Indian passenger as being unworthy of sitting alongside her in the same plane. Her attitude is disgusting, but fortunately, it doesn't last for long.
Yeah, get off the bus, racist.
Now she's looking all innocent and sorry. But of course, this did not go unnoticed by people in the comments section. They totally condemned her demeaning behavior. But the drama is far from over. It's crazy how many shows you can watch amidst flights, just like this next clip. This man, sitting in the passenger seat on a flight, decided that he knew more than the crew. After some minutes of back and forth arguments, he got what he deserved.
You can't do that. That's illegal. Okay, I'll get up. Stop. You get your phone and get off the plane. Get up. Stop. I'm getting up. Stop.
It's funny how he immediately turned into a crybaby when he had to face the consequences of his actions. You get to see different types of people aboard flights. There are those that behave like children, and then there are also the crazy macho ones, who don't just disturb the flight but also assault flight attendants as well.
No, really. Go.
As a result of his crazy behavior, the pilot cannot help but stand up and act to put this passenger in order.
I'm trying to help you. They're not listening. No, please, stop it. Please.
Do you mind just sitting down? Really?
No, I don't.
Sit down. Sit down. Enough. You don't put your hands on my flight attendant. Enough.
Yep.
Finally, our flight attendant gets the justice she deserved, and we have the pilot to thank for that. Even commenters sang his praises, commending his approach and manner of handling the situation. When the pilot said, "You don't put your hand on my flight attendant," that was a sign of a true leader who respected his team. Fantastic to see a man defend his team. Indeed, that pilot deserved that spotlight. And so does every flight official who stands up to wild passengers. Like this man who is busy having his moment, assaulting an air hostess. Until suddenly, everything goes south.
This man got the right done it.
Now he's in an embarrassing situation, providing entertainment for all on board. That's a satisfying twist we love to see, a twist of duct tapes. But even with strict rules and stricter consequences, passengers still refuse to learn their lessons and behave appropriately. Some bring religious fanaticism along with them, even up to 30,000 feet. Just like we see in this clip where a religious fanatic is putting up quite a show on the plane. He started praying mid-flight, blocking the aisle and preventing crew members from moving freely. And when an attendant calmly tries to get him to return to his seat, what he does next will amaze you. He thinks he is going to get away with this misbehavior, but the crew members are not having any of it. I bet he didn't expect what was coming for him. And now he has to face the consequences of his actions. Although uncivilized behavior is against the rules, this next clip shows a woman showing how less of a human she is, as she takes uncivilized behavior to a different level when she asks her seatmate to move seats for her dog.
There's an empty seat there. There's no reason you can't move over for my dog.
I paid for this seat. I like this
Oh,
seat.
you want a
There's
middle seat?
The screen is working. The screen's not working on that one. Your dog can sit on your lap, okay?
Evidently, the dog is more human to her than her seatmate. Although the harassed lady protests reasonably, this Karen has a voice that is daring and authoritative. Regardless, karma always has its ways. You won't believe what happens to her.
Oh my god! Chanel!
Evidently, this dog doesn't support her actions at all, so justice is served. Speaking about justice, here comes a man getting into a friction with the officers. As the wheels of the plane go up, his own crazy wheels are already all over the place.
I don't give a shit. That's my seat. You take something from me, I take what is mine.
Say it one more time.
I take what is mine. Shut up.
Oh,
You
Lord.
don't take from me. You don't take from me. You treat me a certain way, I'm gonna treat you right back like you treated me.
Not long after, the officials take action and treat him as the lunatic he was acting up as.
Thank you. I'm too focused. I'm unfocused.
You know, I'm thinking there should probably be a mental care facility for unstable flight ruiners like this, because some passengers really need to be there. But unfortunately, many passengers deliberately choose to ignore this, just like the man in this clip, who was vaping right inside the plane with no regard for his safety and that of the rest of the people on board. Thankfully, the authorities are quick to notice, so they escort him off with no aggression.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm talking about that.
No.
You would think that such stubborn behavior was only common in males, but surprisingly, here's a lady refusing to abide by the rules. Clearly, she knows that smoking on the plane is wrong, but when they attempt to stop her, there is chaos. This kind of behavior is unacceptable, but shocking, especially when we consider the risk she was exposing herself and everybody to. Her annoying action definitely seems like a criminal offense, and she was dealt with accordingly. But we cannot help but notice that some people are just like that woman when it comes to relating with society and dealing with instructions from the authorities. This woman is a clear example. The flight attendant told her to get off the phone and put her phone in flight mode. Instead of calmly obeying the instructions, she does this instead.
No, ma'am, don't talk to me like that. I'm an adult. Do not talk to me like that. Do not talk to me like that. Tell him to stop. If you do not know what's going on, do not yell at me.
You can stop recording.
No, I'm not.
Imagine such insolence and stubbornness aboard a plane. However, the authorities soon come for this self-entitled lady. They kick her off the flight with passengers clapping as she leaves. And if you think that's the last of it, then you're in for a long ride, because in our next clip, this woman is a bird of the same feather. When the authorities told her she was not allowed to bring 3 bags on the plane, which was against the rules, she stubbornly refused to listen. Because of this, the authorities made a decision that was unpleasant to her.
No, hear me out. But they're saying that we've been told that you've been denied boarding, so at this point, we have to take you off.
No, what is the reason why?
Okay, we can find out once we go up there, but if not, you'll be arrested. Wait, so let's just have this discussion up there. We're gonna have this discussion.
Here are your options. You either walk with us up there, or you're gonna be arrested.
So we're gonna have
Based on what?
Based on you don't, criminal trespass.
A what?
Criminal trespass.
So we're gonna have this discussion.
I'm already checked in.
We have to go this way, okay? We can talk to you all day out there.
However, instead of surrendering, this lady still stands her ground, claiming that the officers are stepping on her rights. Then, things get uglier when something happens.
This is my wife. She needs to be on board now. We've already been checking.
She's not boarding. She's not boarding.
If she does not leave, she's gonna be arrested for criminal trespass.
No.
Based on what?
That's how it's gonna work.
Based on what?
I'm checked in.
Why? She's
You're being
already
asked.
checked
This
in.
is not up for discussion.
No, she's already
This is
checked
not
in.
up for discussion.
The husband refuses to reason with the officers and insists that they have to board the plane. But the authorities repeatedly tell him to board the airplane without his wife, or he will also face the music. After several repeated warnings, the officers are forced to act.
Okay?
No, Mike, stop that! This is bullshit! No, you said I could go on the plane. You said I could go on the plane.
And when he still refuses to comply with the officers, they don't take it kindly.
Now you under arrest.
No.
Put your hands by your back.
Just leave me alone, please. Leave me alone, please.
Chase him, now.
Eventually, the man is arrested and the woman is escorted out of the building. That's what you get when you behave inappropriately and still claim rights on top of it. The rules are simple, but still not everyone will abide by it. Here's one example of an intoxicated woman who was misbehaving aboard flight. The authorities had no choice but to kick her out. However, she never backed down.
100%. That man said, get his beat. Great. I'm standing over here. I want you to go deal with that man saying, get his beat. Go, then deal with that him. Great.
In the end, she is seen crying and playing the victim. But that's not all. There are more passengers like this one. This lady in red here cooks up her version of trouble when she refuses to comply with the mask rule on the airplane.
Man, how are you doing tonight?
Man, we just need to talk to you outside real quick if you don't mind.
It's not for later. Not kidding at all. Walk up to the room.
Because of this, the authorities ask her to leave, but she denies all the claims of causing trouble and keeps arguing with the officers. As a result, they take a decisive action.
Are you kidding me? Stop! Okay, what? Stop!
You're under arrest.
Because of my back?
No.
What is wrong?
Because you-
Okay, I asked you to leave and you didn't want to leave. Please,
Stop resisting.
What is going on here?
It's crazy to see women acting out and always playing the victim instead of following the rules. Here's a lady who did not sit on her assigned seat on the airplane.
You're supposed to be at 37E. That's a screenshot, man.
It's the app.
It says 13E.
And even when she's corrected, she refuses to listen, claiming that she's right where she's supposed to be. Eventually, the pilot gave the final say, and it was not funny for this woman.
Here's my concern. If she's not complying with flight instructions, that's a no bueno.
You refuse to come off the plane, you're going to go to jail today. I'm going to keep playing everyone off the plane, I'm going to drag you off the plane. That's fine, I gave my last warning.
All right, let's go.
Her victim card's been spent. But here's another funny woman who sneaked into the plane after the officials denied her access for arriving late. She even threatened to assault anyone at all who stands in her way of flying with the plane. And at that point, the authorities had no choice but to get involved.
As just letting you know right now, the police officers are here. We're going to ask you to voluntarily walk out of the plane. If not, we're going to ask everybody. We're going to ask. I understand, but you were not bored when we closed the door. You went through the door when there was no anything at the moment. So, let's talk to you outside.
This lady stubbornly refuses to comply, and as a result, the officials are forced to deboard the whole plane because of her. And eventually, she gets what she deserves.
Can somebody record this? Can somebody record this? What are you doing?
It's interesting to see these rude passengers being a nuisance like kids, just like this lady.
Somebody call security!
They're on the airplane.
Yeah, there's probably a marshal on here. Where's he at?
What,
Yeah,
you're
where's
the one
the-
that started this whole nonsense.
But that is not all. Watch this other lady throwing a tantrum.
You told me I got dub.
But see how the airport authorities stepped in to save the situation.
Oh my God.
Passengers like this deserve the treatment they get. But how about banning them for life, especially for those that do the worst act of violence? Just like this crazy man who did something unexpected mid-flight.
Oh my God.
After landing, the authorities arrested him and placed him on a permanent ban. But here's another violent guy, who keeps threatening everyone on the plane that there's going to be a bloodbath. It all seems like a joke until this passenger tries to open the door mid-flight but is captured. Thankfully, some airport security officials are very proactive when passengers like this start acting up. In this clip, the authorities forcefully hold down on a disruptive passenger who assaulted a fellow passenger, and when he resists, they are forced to go the hard way.
Yeah.
Sit down. I just got to tell you, man. Sit down. Sit down. Sorry.
That must hurt, but it is well-deserved indeed. You may wonder how a perfectly sane passenger who boarded the plane soundly could cause so much trouble. It could be that they're under the influence of some catalyst like alcohol. For instance, this woman assaulted a passenger on board. When an officer confronted her, she confirmed that she had indeed been drinking. As a result, another officer tells her what to do next.
Hi, ma'am. Officer Case, if I can get you to get your stuff and stand up for me, let's get off the aircraft so we can get medics to look at you. Alicia?
I didn't ask for a doctor.
No, you didn't ask for a what?
You have no jurisdiction to do that to me.
I'm a peace officer of the state of Texas, and the flight attendants have asked you to...
Of course, alcohol was the boss here, and here's the devastating result of it.
I got it?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Walk. Ma'am, start walking.
She might not be able to. Can y'all get that wheelchair out?
It's just that's her bag and that's her bag.
They got it.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Surely giving alcohol to an already unstable individual is like pulling the pin off a grenade. Regardless, these traveling clowns deserve some form of sanction for drunken behavior. Well, here's an example of a clown who just won't mind his own business on a Scott Airlines flight. He makes a lot of trouble disturbing other passengers in the plane. However, when he targets a man in the next seat, he meets his match.
Where I'm from?
What are you from?
What?
What are you from?
What am I filming?
Yeah.
I'm gonna film the ass in a minute.
see this? Oh, yeah.
And then, the airport authority immediately intervenes.
Nigga. Yeah, get on camera. I told y'all to be putting the ass to the right.
Hey.
Looking back on this incident, it's actually surprising how such a flimsy act just happens out of thin air. Still, the jerk has missed that flight for sure and would probably get in the black books asides getting negative publicity. But this man who was on a plane to Spain is a different case. Apparently, he caused a bit of trouble on the supposedly 2-hour flight. But the authorities stepped in to control the situation. The passengers seem glad that this menace has been taken care of. However, not everyone reacts the same way when they mess up. This annoying young lady is a clear example. She kept disturbing a fellow passenger mid-flight.
Annoying. She lashed out at the man, but watch what he does next.
The passenger suddenly reacts. You won't expect what he does next.
Was I doing that?
Still, reactions are different from Karen to Karen. Imagine trying to get some rest for the flight ahead like this guy and you get disturbed. How would you react?
Trying to fall asleep on the plane when this entitled Karen started putting her bare feet right on his armrest.
After calmly trying to handle the situation to no avail, he switches up quickly.
Talk directly to her, and she of course just pretends like she has no idea what's going on.
Some people will just probably fly to make the experience awful for others, just like this guy right here. In the end, the authorities charge him a large fine for disruptive behavior. Well, here's another moment of craziness. This woman got on the plane sound and sane, but now look at this.
Get me the f off this goddamn plane! You wanna be to me? You will see me.
Despite attempts by flight attendants and beckons by other passengers, it only fuels her motivation for disorderly behavior. Eventually, she's escorted out the plane as the passengers are visibly shaken. The airport authorities sure have a lot of work to do, and they do not hesitate to do it diligently. Just like this video where they forcefully arrest an unruly passenger.
Yep. 05? Yeah. Really? Yeah.
Now here's another passenger whose dramatic behavior made the news.
Everybody look. This guy wants to kill.
In the end, he faces sanctions because of his behavior. But that seems like nothing compared to this woman who pushes a child and attacks the mother while they were boarding a flight. When the officials confront her, she does this.
She came back to my seat.
This is on the plane?
On my seat. She walked back to my seat and punched me in the nose and took my tooth out. She's going to jail. Where's my press card?
No, hon, I got it. We're going back to St. Louis. For the prosecuting attorney's office. It's not good for her.
So, were you guys coming in or going out?
I think we're party.
It was a party?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I didn't see
at what
happened,
point on the plane did this happen?
No, you need to talk to her. I just got here, so I don't know. All I know is she sent me a text that someone punched her.
Okay.
She came back to my seat. I'm glad you got that on video.
Where and when did this happen?
I was getting. Okay. Her seat was in. Sure. First of all, here's my identification. So I was in row 12.
After investigating the matter, the police do what they have to do to curtail the menace before it gets out of hand.
Why? I am not resisting. They are pulling on me. I'm not resisting. Get all of it. I am not resisting. You want to yell at me? I'm resisting. I'm not resisting.
Now here's a case of verbal abuse. This lady on the plane was verbally abusing an elderly passenger, and when confronted, she said she did nothing wrong. Imagine such audacity. Soon after, the officials ask her to leave.
I'm getting off the plane. Don't touch my I'll get off the plane. Get my off the under things.
I need someone to call Broward Service Department to F3. Please, someone please call Broward Service F3.
Oh, because I called someone old. I get kicked off the
Instead of sitting quietly as they fly, some passengers choose to cause trouble for fellow passengers, just like this woman and her daughter who verbally abused passengers. But theirs was really bad because they made racist comments. As a result of their insolent attitude, this is what they get.
Racism at its best. Right? Oh, wow, you're really videotaping it? You don't even know what's going on. You're videotaping it. Stupid ass.
Drunk ass.
Don't come to my mother like that.
It seems like they forgot a global rule, especially on flights: never initiate a racist bout. So they dug their pit and fell right into it. Many passengers put up several kinds of annoying attitude. For this lady, it's with the plane seat. Because she doesn't want the passenger in front of her to recline an inch, she does this.
I'm sorry, but no. Everybody's doing it too. Wait, what? Okay, I'm going to talk to someone. Okay, talk to somebody. Okay, keep on talking. No, but just let me know what's going on. I said respectfully, can you please help me back? Respectfully.
Imagine being inconsiderate to the point you don't want a fellow passenger to be comfortable. Well, we all know how it usually ends. Now here's an example of what happens when parents cannot train their children and they end up becoming a public nuisance. Thankfully, the police do well when they encounter the unusual types, like this 21-year-old who missed her flight, and instead of calmly looking for a way out, she started throwing a tantrum.
You hear me?
Hello.
Let's go.
Hello.
Let's go. Let's go.
Hello.
Let's go.
Yes.
You gotta go. You can't act like this. You gotta go.
Bro.
The authorities have no choice than to hold her accountable for disruptive behavior.
We're not gonna play this game. We're not gonna play this game. We're not gonna play this game. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to go for a ride? I got a ride for you. Relax. Absolutely. We're going to take care of you.
But that's nothing compared to the craziness on the next clip. Just before takeoff, these two passengers are fighting with each other. After separating them, the passenger storms out and comes back to start war again.
Hey, stop it! Guys, get off!
In his moment of madness, he attacks everybody around him, but eventually he goes to jail for assault charges. Flight officials see a lot on their day-to-day work life, but I bet they don't expect to see passengers like this one, who take someone's property and give a ridiculous excuse for doing that.
Why don't you take people's luggage then?
It's okay.
No, you can't take things without asking. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, you're gonna be famous. You're gonna be on TikTok.
Is it stealing?
Yes, that is stealing. Absolutely.
Is it stealing?
Absolutely. Yes, it's stealing. You're giving it back because I caught you and everybody else.
When you think you've seen the worst of passengers, another version appears. Now, take a look at this one. While flying from Denver to Houston, a peaceful flight suddenly turned into chaos when a passenger began punching seats. He also kicked a window and cracked its interior panel. When the other passengers didn't see any flight attendants, they took matters into their own hands.
I don't know if this. I'll just lay on his back and start kicking the window.
Yeah, we got
They managed to restrain him for over an hour until the plane landed. I'm sure you didn't see that coming, because come on, trying to smash a plane window is really crazy. What if he flies right through? Some people just want to get hit before they learn. This foul-mouthed passenger disrupted an airplane and the authorities walked him out. What happened next will shock you. You would agree that that move was quite a stupid thing to do. First you disrupt a flight, and next you assault an officer of the law. That is quite the offense count for one day. But it gets worse. Let's see how some flight attendants react to Karen situations. This lady was causing trouble on the plane when she switched seats for someone else's. When the passenger asked her to leave, she refused to, claiming that she was in the right place. Everything changes when the flight attendant steps in to set matters straight.
He's gonna move back there.
No, actually, you are gonna move back there.
Excuse me?
Oh,
that's ridiculous.
We're gonna have you
I'm
move
not
back
moving
here,
back
man.
there.
You're moving back here, ma'am.
I am not moving back.
You're moving back here.
I'm not.
Clearly, this Karen did not expect the tables to turn in that direction, from being the aggressor to being caged. Everyone seems to love the way the flight attendant saved the day, but how about instances where passengers try to assault an airport official in public? In our next clip, there seems to be a delay in onboarding the passengers and the flight taking off. Understandably, many people are upset about the situation, but this entitled couple take it too far.
We're closed now for temporarily. We're temporarily closed for now. They're not doing anything at the moment. And I'll be on my way. Bro.
But the officers don't take it kindly as they try to put them in their place. Things get ugly real fast. Just imagine the chaos because of refusing to obey simple instruction. Talking about following instructions. Here's another passenger who got into a fight with another passenger because she claims that her luggage scratched her Louis Vuitton. When the flight attendant asked her to leave, she vehemently refused. Eventually, the authorities had to step in. Even so, she refused to follow instructions, and so the officers are forced to deboard the whole plane. But when she comes out, this happens.
Relax, relax, relax. No, you're making me uncomfortable.
Relax, relax, relax.
You're making me uncomfortable. Why am I going to jail?
If there's one thing disruptive passengers have in common, it's the fact that they seem to be under the influence of something. This young lady caused quite a scene at the airport and police had to intervene. She seems drunk, but no one can say for sure because she keeps denying it. However, they tell her what she must do.
Flying tonight.
Yes, and that's
That you're
fine.
flying tomorrow morning.
And
They
that's
rebooked
fine.
you for
I don't
tomorrow
have a
morning.
job. You get what I'm saying? I don't work 9 to 5. So as long as I know that I paid twice and they did
No,
not.
you didn't pay twice. They just
I did
rebooked
pay-
you.
No, I did pay twice. I booked Friday and I booked today, and they didn't allow me. I'm not.
She refuses to comply, but the officers give her a chance to leave peacefully. When she doesn't, they arrest her and bundled her out. Here's another wild passenger that deserves to be bundled out of the airport. After missing her flight, she tried to rebook, but there were some hiccups, and so she completely lost her calm.
My boarding pass is not loaded. My boarding pass is not loaded. Several other people boarding pass is not loaded. They want to charge me $99. That's not my fault. I'm here to check in. Listen,
She keeps yelling for a long time, and in the end, the officers arrest her and take her away. It's almost like some people lose their senses once they get to the airport. Because tell me why this lady will behave in such an embarrassing manner. Imagine hitting and spitting on a 69-year-old man. That is insolence at its peak. As the drama unfolds, the flight attendant escorts her out of the plane. And it's crazy because this racist lady in our next clip does the exact same thing. She assaulted a senior citizen in the airport, and other passengers couldn't help but record it for evidence and report it to the appropriate authorities.
I mean, that's like your own mama getting hit, you know? It's like, makes me sick.
Yeah.
I would have gone after her, but I was too scared. She was just smacking me in the face as well.
I thought she was coming towards me when she saw my phone.
She definitely didn't go out the exit.
After searching for her for 10 minutes, they found her sitting in the waiting area. What happened next will amuse you.
Okay? You are. I'm not playing games here.
I can sit the fuck up if I want to.
You can sit right here, just
Let
like
go
that.
of me.
Put your feet on the
Pedo.
ground. Okay.
Y'all want me to sit like this?
If that's what you want to do.
Calm down.
After resisting arrest for a while, the officers have no choice but to bundle her and take her out of the airport on a wheelchair. The airport is where you see dramas of every kind. Here's another drama where this passenger refused to check her bags, which is normal airport protocol. When her ticket was canceled, she tried to board the plane without it.
Please tell me what I did wrong. Did I talk to somebody? Did I talk shit?
So she's denied?
Why can't I get on my flight?
And you still talking shit. Stop it.
Originally, it started because she wouldn't check back, and then it turned into obscenity.
I didn't need to. I have a carry-on.
Stop talking. You're talking
No,
too loud.
no, ma'am. This is my carry-on.
You can go.
Dude, I have a carry-on. This is my carry-on.
Okay.
Why can't I get on my flight?
After confirming that she had something to drink, the officers then understand how to handle her. First, they tried to calmly explain why she couldn't board the plane, but when she wasn't listening, they had to do this.
Wait, I didn't do anything.
You're
Why am I under
for public
arrest?
intoxication,
For
all right?
what?
Public intoxication.
What did I do?
In the end, she goes to jail for her lunatic behavior.